podcast. My the ridiculous way we record this podcast. But you know what? It works. It works. Until I get Joe Rogan money, it works. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. All right. Let's do it. Thank you so much for joining Spazzing Out, America's podcast, your podcast. On this podcast, we cover topics that are everything American and everything good about America and everything that I love about America, and sometimes spilt milk issues that I deal with my everyday life because I'm a working class man just like you. So the issues I have to deal with, you deal with. Troubles with the wife, dealings with the kids, spets with the dog, the trash man, all that stuff, grocery shopping. I am the guy that has to deal with all that crap, and so aren't you. So we talk about it on this show, and we cover those topics. When I'm tired, you're tired. When I'm happy, you're happy. When I'm sad, you're sad. I know that's not always the way it goes, but sometimes it is. Sometimes that's how it happens. America's podcast is recorded 5 times a week. You can get it Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify. You can ask Alexa. You can sit there and say, hey, Alexa, play Spazzing Out, America's podcast, and she'll play it for you. Please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't. I know some people like to watch when I record it. So some people are on Facebook. If you're on Facebook now, share the feed. Follow me on Facebook. If you're watching on Twitter, retweet it. Follow me on Twitter. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Most people listen to my podcast on an app. Most people listen on Apple Podcasts or on Google Podcasts or Spotify or with their Alexa. If you're one of them people and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Now listen, we get somewhere between 500 and 600 downloads a day, and that's phenomenal. We've been steady at that for about 3 weeks. I want to get it up. I need to get to 2,500 a day. Once we get to 2,500 a day, I could start making money. I could start getting, I could get advertisers now, but they'd be the first in and they'd be getting a deal. I'd rather work for free than give somebody a deal. If someone comes to me and is like, hey, like for example, with Take Junk removal company I own, if you can't pay me full rate, I'd rather do it for you for free and show you how good I am instead of taking a discounted rate. I hate working for a discount. I refuse to work for a discount. I just won't do it. Find somebody else. So when the podcast blows up, we'll get real advertisers. Or, of course, my wife Kaylee forces me to get an advertiser. Then I'll have to do it, and that's just the way it is because happy wife, happy life. On today's program, there are things that enrage me, and then there are things that fucking enrage me. And I have to talk. I have to talk about what Mike Bloomberg is doing in Florida. I have to talk about what this billionaire scumbag from Massachusetts, from Medford, Mass, is doing in Florida. This guy should be brought up on charges for fucking with the election because he's paying off felons. He's paying off bills for felons so that they can vote. We're going to talk about that. What just an absolute scumbag. We're going to talk about Seattle. We're going to talk about what's going on in Seattle. The mayor is paying a former pimp $150,000 to deal with the scumbags and CHOP and the losers, the anarchists in Seattle. We're going to talk about that. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire... kudos to the guy for getting the loot, but it's ridiculous. We're going to talk about these losers in Seattle, and we're going to talk about their stupid-ass mayor that could snuff this problem out real quick. Law and order. It'll be over. And we're going to... Oh, man, I missed this. When we get to Mike Bloomberg, I'm going to tell you companies you need to stop boycotting and athletes that can suck a big fat one. We're going to... In California, the University of California, which is... There's 6 different... state university colleges in California. I don't know them all. It doesn't matter. They're giving out favors, or kids are getting in school. So let's say I applied for college and I had I was just as good as this guy over here, but this guy's dad donated $1 million to the school. That kid got in. I didn't get in. There's going to be a big problem with that. But I'm going to tell you why I don't care. Why it's not a big deal. We should have a DB alert. I got to come up with a name for it. When I used to work in radio, it was called Perverts in the News. There is a complete scumbag 53-year-old guy from North Carolina that super dads came to the rescue, and it's great. Is it Alyssa Milano, who is known for being in favor of defunding the police, needed the police. We're going to cover that. I want to talk about a UFC fighter that called out LeBron James, and LeBron James's pussy ass didn't want to do anything about it. And then I want to talk about the NFL fines for masks. And we'll just get this out of the way because I feel like I should do news, right? 100 million, Hawk is right with Bloomberg when we get to this loser. I have to briefly on the program, I like to share news with you guys just so you're up to date on news. Obviously, we all know what's happening with the Supreme Court. I've talked about it 2 days in a row. On Monday, I broke down how someone gets nominated, what the Supreme Court does. I'm not going to do it again. If you want to know, go listen to that podcast. Yesterday, I gave my opinion on whether or not the president should nominate someone. You're damn right he should. It's his constitutional obligation, duty, job. You know how I feel about that. Today, I just wanted to update you. Today, the Senate has come. They've all gotten together and they realize that they will have at least 51 votes because Mitt Romney, and I knew Mitt Romney would be in favor of the president on this because Mitt Romney is in favor of the Constitution and he believes it's his constitutional duty, even though we're pissed at Romney for trying to impeach the president and voting against the president in impeachment. On this one, Romney sticks with the Constitution and said if the president makes a nominee, he will vote on the nominee. So we'll have at least 51 votes. We will, in fact, the president will nominate a woman in the next few days. It will go to the Judiciary Committee. It will get pushed through. We will have a vote. This will be all tied up and done before the end of the year. We'll know who the nominee is before the election. We might even have a vote on it before the election. And if we even get any further, we might get in Maine. But Maine is allowing in their presidential election ranked choice voting. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Here in Massachusetts, question number 2 is whether or not you guys want to elect officials with ranked choice voting. Please, for the love of God, everybody you know, everybody you see, tell them, run in the other direction. If some asshole starts telling them that ranked choice voting is the way to go. I already broke it down in a previous podcast. Go check it out. Go back. You can see how I feel about it. I'm not for it. It's definitely no on question 2. And in Maine, that's how they're voting for the president. In Maine, they're going to write in who they would like to be president, who they would like for, if that president didn't win, they're going to rank them like it's the fucking All-Stars. That's a huge problem. Why? Because in 2018, a Republican who was already a congressman, he was the incumbent, he got the most votes. He got the most first place votes. And then because of ranked choice voting, he didn't have a clear majority. They went back and retabulated with second place votes, and the guy got bounced out. It's not the will of the people anymore. It's no longer the will of the people. It is now the will of the Democrats, and the Democrats want this kind of voting system so that they could say, oh, well, I know a Republican won, but everybody else wanted the Democrat to be in second place, so now he's in first place. So in Massachusetts, vote no on question 2. No on question 2. Simple. All right, we got through those formality things. I have to get to Florida. Florida is gonna absolutely drive me. What's going on in Florida is gonna drive me insane. For those people, I feel like I have to educate people. Florida is one of those states that's for the most part a swing state. It's one of those states that is very important. If you want to win the election, if you want to be the president of the United States, you need to win Florida. It's one of those states you have to win. Back in 2000, when George W. Bush was running against Al Gore, that's what the whole lawsuit was about. And Bush ends up winning the state by about 500 votes. So a few years ago, Florida says, we're going to allow felons. I don't even want to have a conversation about the fact that scumbag felons have the opportunity, these losers. Well, if people who have committed a felony, sure that there are some lesser felonies, but a felony is a bad crime. You're going to go to jail for more time. You're a rapist. if you're a felon. You're a diddler if you're a felon. You're a kidnapper if you're a felon. You've committed murder if you're a felon. These are the people that Florida said, hey, we're going to let them vote. We're going to give them, they've done their time. We're going to let them vote. First off, I think that's bullshit in general. So now all these felons a couple of years ago got the right to vote, but there's a stipulation. Stipulation is that the felons have to pay off their fines. A lot of these guys have criminal debt, court debt that they haven't paid off. Tons of them have it. Big fines that they have to pay off so that they can vote. Now, the governor in Florida, which is DeSantis or something like that. I can't think of his name, but we love him. Yesterday, he was all law and order. He's trying to pass a bill that's just basically saying if you loot, you're a felon. If you hit a cop, you're going to jail. He is all law and order, and we love it. He's also going to take funding away from cities that defund the police departments. This guy's great. He tried suing to make it so that the felons couldn't vote. He didn't win, but he did win the fact that the felons have to pay off their money. So the second this guy wins in court, the governor wins at court, that the felons have to pay, Bloomberg, because he knows how important Florida is, sees this and says, shit, there are 32,000 people that could vote if I pay off their debt to society. This is wrong in so many ways. But first, I just want to get to Bloomberg understands how important Florida is. A win in Florida could decide the election. So this right here is, you guys think Russia fucked with the election? Like, oh yeah, I mean, Russia didn't, but you think they did? Bloomberg is fucking with the election. He is paying 32,000 people to vote for Joe Biden. It's fucking blatant. Somebody needs to do something. The Attorney General Barr needs to sue, or the Attorney General in Florida needs to sue, or some other state needs to sue Florida and Mike Bloomberg for what he's doing. He's buying people's votes. He's buying their vote. I've never seen it, and it's blatant. And the fact that no one's pissed off about it but me is beyond. So hear me out. You have 30, first off, he's going to give $1 million of his own money in Florida so that Biden can win Florida. He's going to drop, not 1 million, 100 million. He's going to drop $100 million in Florida to help Biden win Florida. On top of that, he raised $20 million to pay off 32,000 felons' debts to society so that they could vote. He went. Now I want you to understand this for a second. Hawk, you're right. The Florida governor balls, man. We need a guy like that up here. Let me be clear with you people. I want you to let's be dad right now. Let's review what a felon is. Felons are people that rape someone. Felons are people that kidnap someone. Felons are people that, now if you hit a cop, you're going to be a felon in Florida if this bill passes. Felons are scumbags. They've committed a scumbag crime. Now I want you to pretend you're dad and your daughter got raped. Your daughter has been raped. They convict the man of a felony of rape. He goes to jail, does his 5, 6, however long he does. He gets out. Florida gives this scumbag that raped your daughter right to vote. You're pissed off about it. But then the governor out there is like, nah, man, we're going to make them pay their bill. Make them pay the money, because that's the toughest part. Doing the time is whatever. Coming up with the money to pay off your court fines, these guys don't have it. So now you got this big loser, this scumbag that raped your daughter, and then Mike Bloomberg, comes in and pays off his debt. That fucking enrages me more, and I'm sorry about the swearing, but that enrages me more than anything I've heard in the past year. I'm more pissed off about that than I am about anything that's happened with the coronavirus. Anything. Just think about that. That's how you people have to think. You have Democrats applauding that. They're like, yes, Bloomberg, yes. So you guys are all cool with Mike Bloomberg paying off debts for rapists and guys who kidnapped people and committed major crimes? Yes, they love it. They love it. I want some. You know what? The debate's coming up. The debate is going to be on the 29th, and if Chris Wallace had a fucking nutsack, he would look right at Joe Biden and say, hey, how do you feel? He would go and do his homework, and he would, because I'm telling you, out of the 32,000 people that got something paid off, there's a rapist in there. There's someone that kidnapped somebody. There's someone that committed a heinous crime, and I want him to grab like 10 and just say to Joe Biden, I want him to say to Biden, point blank, Joe, how do you feel about Mike Bloomberg paying off debts for convicted felons, and then read the name, say, you know, this guy, he raped this person. This guy, he did this kidnapping. This guy, how do you feel about that? I want him to ask if Chris Wallace had a sack. He would ask him, point blank, just put it right on him and say, hey. And if Joe Biden had any nuts, too, he would say it's disgusting. It's awful. This needs to be a lawsuit for this. This is unprecedented mischief. I don't even know what the hell what you want to call it. This is a 100% Mike Bloomberg buying the election in Florida. He is paying 32,000 people to vote for Joe Biden. Period. There is no way around it. There is no effing way around it. Period. He is paying off their debt. Now, if you read into the article a little bit, these people have debts of about $1,500 and they don't have the money. Some people have owed this debt for a couple of years. He swoops in, he pays off their debt. So he says, here's 15,000. No, sorry, 1,500. Here's 1,500. Now you can vote. Who do you think they're voting for? Who do you think they pick? What do you think they just hit at free random? They picked because there's way more than 32,000 felons in Florida. No, they handpicked them. They went around and they said, all right, you know what? This guy's a registered Democrat. I bet you 100% of the 32,000 that got paid off are registered Democrats. I'd fucking bet you 100 million. And no one's upset about it. Nobody's pissed off about it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I don't even care. Like, I mean, I'm pissed that he's buying the election in Florida. I'm absolutely steaming about it. But I'm more upset that he's paying off these losers' debt to society. You're a scumbag felon. You've committed a crime. You went to jail. You incurred debts because of your crime. You have to pay that off. There should be a law saying that somebody else cannot pay off your debt unless there's some kind of payback. You know, like if they have to pay Bloomberg back, I'd be like, all right, they took out a loan. I'd be fine with that. They got to give the money back. It's disgusting that in the United States, that no one else is pissed about it. I need Fox News or I need some other damn news organization to come out and tell us what some of the crimes are these people committed so that the American people could sit back and understand that there's a dad, there's a victim, there's a girl out there that got raped, and then there's a pissed off father that's got to sit back while some billionaire from Medford, Massachusetts pays off this guy's debt so that he can vote for Joe Biden. If that doesn't piss you off, if you're a Democrat and that doesn't make you say, I'm going to vote for Trump, I don't know what will. Your head's fucked. I get so upset about it because I think about it on a human level. I have a daughter. I have a 5-year-old daughter. I love her more than anything in the world. There is nothing. And trust me, you guys know. Everybody knows that listens to this program that I love myself first. It's me and then everybody else. Anthony loves Anthony and then everybody else is second. My daughter's number one. I love her more than anybody. I'd probably throw my son in front of a bus. I'll be like, oh, sorry, now he's gone. See ya. My daughter, I'd jump in the front of the bus for her. If something like this happened to my daughter, well, first off, if my daughter got raped or my daughter was abused, then we're not even going to court. We're going to court because I'm going to jail because I'll rip the guy apart. I don't care. I would say, honestly, I hope my daughter never makes anything up and says that happened, because if my daughter comes to me and says a guy touched her, forget it. She's not going to have a chance to tell me it didn't happen. I'm going to fly right to this guy's house and he's dead. And then when I go to court and the judge is like, what happened? I'm going to be like, yeah, my daughter said he touched him. I killed him. Put me in jail. But just imagine you have a daughter. She gets raped, Guy gets convicted, does his jail time, gets out of jail. It's already tough enough that he's going to get out of jail and that he's going to live and be out in public. And your poor daughter had to deal with this shit and spend the rest of her life trying to get over it. It's tough. And then swoops in Mike Bloomberg to pay off his debt. Mike Bloomberg swoops in and takes care of all his bills while your daughter licks her wounds, while your daughter goes to counseling because she's been fucked up because of it. Your daughter can't hold a job down because of what happened to her. She can't move on with her life because of this scumbag. And Bloomberg just says, hey, you know what, buddy? I know you did some bad stuff. I know, right here. Here's $1,500. Go pay off your debt and go vote for Joe Biden. Go vote. If Joe Biden doesn't come out and speak against this, then he's for it. Right now, Joe Biden's campaign, I'm going to give you some insight to his campaign. Right now, his campaign, and maybe not Joe because Joe's a moron, maybe Kamala Harris is at least smart enough to understand the complications here. She was an attorney general in California. Hard-nosed bitch, fucking hard-nosed. She's smart enough to understand that the American people aren't that stupid. Maybe some Democrats are, but Republicans aren't that dumb. And we're all sitting back saying, whoa, wait a second. Mike Bloomberg is paying felons. He's paying their debts off, and these felons committed heinous crimes. That's why it's a felony. Felonies are crimes that you go to jail for more than over a year. And if you go to jail for more than over a year, you've committed a heinous crime. Again, rape, kidnapping, assaulting a police officer, killing somebody. And then some of you guys get out of jail. You get out on parole or something like that. 20 years later, this guy's kid's still dead. But now you get to get out, and Joe Biden, might as well say Joe Biden, and now you get to get out, and Mike Bloomberg pays off your debt to society so that you can vote and win an election for him. Kamala Harris and all, because Biden's space shot, they're all sitting in a room saying, what do we do here? And I'm telling you, because she's a prosecutor, because she is someone that was hard on crime. She's not anymore because the Democrats don't want her to be hard on crime. But you guys should go check her record. She was a tough cookie on crime in California. But now she's not, because now she cares about criminals and now she wants to baby criminals. So here's the deal. She's getting a gut check right now. She's saying to herself, this is disgusting. She's thinking whether or not she's going to sell her soul or she's going to come out and say something. Someone in the Biden camp needs to stop this shit. One of the Democrats needs to come out and say, Mike, we don't need your help. We don't want your help here. Even if they just come out and just say it in public, but behind the scenes, be like, yeah, keep doing it. If you don't say something, you endorse it. So I just want you to understand that if you, right now, this is how I feel. If you vote for Joe Biden, then you are agreeing with, because Joe Biden's not speaking out against it, because Kamala Harris isn't speaking out against it, you are saying it is okay to pay felons' debts. That's one thing. That's one effed up thing, that these felons are criminals, and Mike Bloomberg is going to pay their debt. Number two, you're saying it is okay to buy an election. You're saying, yep, no big deal. Mike Bloomberg is going to hand over a check, and these people are going to vote. Two problems with that. And if someone doesn't come out on their side, Trump needs to come out and say it immediately. I want to see Donald Trump come straight out and call Mini Mike out and call the Democrats out for supporting it. Now, I want to take it a little bit deeper, because there are people that there's one person on this list that I'm blown away that donated to it. And I'm hoping to God he doesn't know yet that he donated, because his charity did it. And I'm sure that this person isn't involved in all moves with this charity. So I'll get to the other people that were not surprised that donated. So Mike Bloomberg had to reach out. He raised $20 million. He used the $20 million to pay off 32,000 felons' debts so that they can vote in the general election to try to buy the Florida election. Florida is a big state. If you win Florida, you likely win the electoral college. You likely win the election. Now, here are some people that here's someone we're not surprised. One of the donors, LeBron James. We're not surprised. I'm not surprised. You could have just said, hey, there's a donor list, and I would have been like, yep, LeBron James is on that. We'll talk about LeBron James and his little beef with the UFC wrestler, UFC fighter, what Covington is his name. It's Colby Covington. We'll talk about that, how Bronbon got called out and put his head up his ass because he's a baby. Not surprised there. MTV donated. Comedy Central donated. Ben and Jerry's donated. We're not surprised. I don't buy Ben and Jerry's, that their ice cream. Forget it. If I see you eating it, I'll slap it out of your hand. But the Miami Dolphins, they donated. I'm not surprised there. Miami Dolphins is the only franchise that voted against having the Raiders in Las Vegas. Not surprised. This is what I'm surprised about. Michael Jordan's organization donated to it. That is surprising to me. I'm surprised. Why am I surprised? I'm surprised. I don't think Michael Jordan knows about it yet. I'm being serious. I'm going to give Michael Jordan a pass for a couple of days till he comes forward and figures out what's going on. I can't even fathom that Michael Jordan would be okay donating money to pay off a felon's debt, considering the fact that his father was killed by two scumbags and ditched in a fucking swamp. I can't see Michael Jordan donating money. Let me say that again. I can't see, and it surprises me, I can't see Michael Jordan giving money to a fund that would pay off debts for a felon. It would be like a slap in the face to his murdered father. It would be like, hey, because hear me out. You know what? I'll one up you. One of the guys that killed Michael Jordan's father is getting out on parole. We talked about it on an earlier podcast. He's going to be out on parole. They're going to let this scumbag out. This guy killed Jordan's dad, dumped him in a swamp, and took off and just discarded the body like it was nothing. You're telling me that Jordan's okay with that? So you're telling me that Michael Jordan's like, oh, yeah, no big deal. They let out the guy out of jail, the felon that killed my father. Now imagine this. Imagine that this felon lived in Florida and he had debts to society. He had debts he had to pay. Think about this. He had debts. Hear me out. And then Bloomberg pays off this guy's debts. You think Jordan's in favor of that? Do you think Michael Jordan it would sit well with him to sit back and be like, wait a second. The guy that killed my dad just got out of jail, owed money to the state. Bloomberg paid it off. Jordan would be livid. He would be bullshit. So I'm guessing that Michael Jordan doesn't know that his charitable organization, he's the head of it. These dudes are busy. So I'm going to give Jordan a bye for a couple of days. I hope that there is a reporter out there. Again, we need more reporters that have a nutsack. We need more reporters that will ask the hard questions. I want a reporter, go right now, should be at Michael Jordan's door saying, hey, Michael, do you know that you donated money to an organization that's going to pay debts for felons? And then if Jordan says, yeah, I did it, then I would just fucking call him straight out and be like, dude, your father, if you were here now, he'd be rolling over in a grave. Your dad was killed by felons. You want those felons paid off? Hell no. No way Jordan gave to it. I'm telling you. I need please, for the love of God, someone needs to ask Michael Jordan about this. I hope someone has the nuts the next time that Jordan's in public. I hope they ask him this. For the love of God. All right, we've taken up so much time on this topic, but it needed to be talked about. I'm enraged about it, and you should be upset about it. You need to tell your friends about it. You need to talk about it with people, word of mouth it, social media, tweet on it. This is a bigger problem for me than the Supreme Court. Country's going to be fine. We're going to get a nominee. Supreme Court's going to be A-okay. What's disgusting that's happening in Florida is a billionaire is buying the election. He's paying debts for 32,000 felons so that they can vote. If that isn't a payoff to vote for someone, I don't know what is. You're trying to tell me that if you were a convicted felon and someone paid off your debt, you wouldn't vote for their candidate? Of course you will vote for their candidate. And of course, Bloomberg, I'm telling you, if they go look into the 30,000 felons, most of them were probably registered Democrats. So he's buying the election. That's one side. Then the other side, look at from a human aspect. If you're a dad or a mom, or if you're the victim that was victimized by these felons, stop using Mike Bloomberg products. Stop reading Bloomberg's articles. Stop it. He is paying convicted felons' debts with this money. Stop it. Have some pride in life. Stop using companies like that. Stop giving these dinks money so that they can pay off felons. It's enraging. There needs to be a damn investigation. Where are the Republicans on this? Where's Mitch McConnell? Bro, you need to investigate this crap. Garbage. Disgusting. It's just, I'm enraged. I'm really. This needs to be a bigger story. People need to be really pissed off about this. This should be the #1 story in the country. Everybody should be talking about this. Florida's governor needs to do something. He needs to demand the Attorney General of Florida looks into this. We love Florida's governor. The guy's got balls. I'd like to move to Florida. After seeing his nuts getting out there and talking about law and order and defunding, telling the cities he's going to defund them if they defund the police. I love the guy. Can't wait till he runs for president. Because of course he will someday. Fucking great. All right. We're moving on from that. I'm not watching Miami football. They donated to it. Hell no, I'll never eat Ben & Jerry's. Braun can suck off. And Michael Jordan, I'm going to give him a pass until we find out if he knew about it. If he directly donated, dude, I'm going to be steaming. All right. We're going to move on from that. What else? All right, let's get to here, let me breeze through a couple topics, and then I want to get to Seattle. Because what's going on we should just get to what's going on in Seattle. What's happening in Seattle is crazy. Alyssa Milano, here, we'll tie this all together. We'll go from defunding police officers to Seattle. Actress Alyssa Milano, that we can all agree is a smoke show. 47 years old, she's beautiful. We've all thought she was beautiful since Who's the Boss? She was on Charmed. Bro, I used to love Charmed. It was a show about witches. She's hot. Great. Fantastic. She's hot. She'd be a lot hotter if she never fucking spoke and kept her mouth shut. That's my advice to you would be straight up like this. You know, Alyssa, you're really hot, but you'd be even hotter if you just shut your mouth. Now, he's sexist. Blah, 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 blah. No, there are guys out there that are really good-looking dudes that would be a lot hotter if they would just shut up. I don't know. Brad Pitt's probably a super lib. He's hot. So if he would just shut up, he'd be a lot hotter. So I don't just pick on women. I pick on men too. Good-looking guys, shut up. So she speaks out. She's an activist. She is an activist for defunding police. This is a great story. I got to do it because I love it. She's an activist for defunding police officers or defunding police departments. Over the weekend, she had to call 911. And the story's great. She calls 911. She reports that there is a 40-something-year-old man in her yard. Her yard's massive. She lives in one of those gated communities. It's a $2.5 million home. This is a place where shit doesn't go down. Nothing goes down in these areas. Where she lives, where she lives is white privilege to a T. You know that white privilege that she talks like, oh, you got white privilege? Well, where she lives, it's white privilege. Where she lives, no thugs are showing up. No gangsters are coming through that neighborhood. No hard ass dudes. There's no meth mile. There's no 350 meth heads from Meth Mile hanging out in her neighborhood. Absolutely not. I mean, let me tell you something. If they did, her views on law enforcement would change. If you brought the hood to her community, you brought the meth heads, you brought the thugs, you brought the gangsters, real quick she'd be like, oh. How do we know? Because she calls 911, says there is a 40-year-old man, 40-ish something, she says, in her yard with a rifle, a long rifle, and she calls, please come help us. Now they come. You got to see the photos of it. They come large. They come with like 7 cruisers. They come with the helicopter. They come with the tactical fucking tank, the fire department. Everybody shows up. They go nuts. They're probably running over there because it's Alyssa Milano. They're like, oh, shit, we get to go check out this hot bitch. They get there. They find the dangerous assailant in the neighborhood. They find the criminal, the felon, the thug. They find a teenager with a fucking BB gun who was shooting squirrels. They find a little punk-ass, zit-faced teenager, like Narium. They find my son Narium, who's a hell of a shot, by the way. My son, hell of a shot. The kid is going to be a marksman. He doesn't have an AR-15. I think it's an AR-16. It's a semi-automatic. Kid's a fucking amazing shot. He's, boom, forget it. Guy hits the target every time. Ping, 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 ping. I don't know much about guns. He does. He's a great shot. His grandfather teaches him about guns and gun safety the way you should do it. Anyways, so the police show up and there's a kid like Narium back there. He's like, hey man, I'm shooting some. The kid's shooting a squirrel. He's shooting a squirrel. His mom or something probably sent him out there. It was like, hey, get the squirrels. Or he's just a kid. Like every single one of us, when I was a kid, I shot at squirrels with the BB gun. We had slingshots. We might have put a hard grape or a marble in a slingshot, fling it at a bird. But Alyssa Milano, the defund the police, please. It gets me so mad. These people, she lives in a community where if someone farts, it's a mortal sin. Like they don't know what to do. But yet she's in favor of defunding the police in cities like Seattle, Portland, Boston, New York City, Chicago, where fucking thugs live, where hardcore killers live. She's like, yeah, get the police out of there. But in her community, a punk-ass teenager comes with an airsoft gun and she freaks out, calls the police, says there's a 40-year-old. How the hell do you look at a teenager and say he's 40, lady? You're a Karen. You freak out. The cops come up. There's this fucking poor kid that's like 15 years old. He's like, oh, I was just shooting some squirrels, officer. I'm really sorry. But yet, you want real crime cities. You live in the nice, gated, white, privileged community in California. And yet, in crime-ridden cities where there's anarchy going, looting, rioting, people are fucking committing crimes on a daily basis. There's like 100 murders a day in Chicago, and you want those places defunded. But yet, in your little gated community, you need the police. Don't defund the police. There might be a guy shooting a squirrel in my front yard. There might be a guy killing. Oh, there was a pigeon that took some shrapnel. Holy moly! You know what would have been great? My daughter's coming down. You know what would have been great is if she called 911 and the officer on the other end, dispatch picks up, says, thank you for calling. They don't say thank you. This is 911 recorded call. And she goes, yes, this is Alyssa Milano. And I'm sure she said that. We haven't heard the tape yet. I can't wait for the audio of this. I can't wait for the audio. Yes, this is Alyssa Milano. Yes, you know, from Who's the Boss? From Charmed. You might know me from things like that. Yes. What's and then she says, what the problem? There's a 40-year-old man. And then I would love it if the dispatch said, wait a second, Alyssa Milano. And then she gets all happy, like she thinks she got noticed. She's like, oh, yes, you remember me? She goes, oh, yeah, I remember you. The dispatch said, yeah, I remember you. Oh, what was your favorite movie? I remember you from being on TV the other day saying you want to defund police officers. Yeah, we're not coming. Click. And then they hang up on her. Anybody that's in favor of defunding police and that's against law and order, when you need help, I hope they don't pick up. And when they do pick up, they say, oh, wait a second. Didn't you say defund police? Didn't you say no police? Click. Presley, what's up?
I'm just getting my baby.
Come over and say hi to everybody. My daughter, guys, I want for a second here, right before my daughter gets in here, we were talking about Mike Bloomberg and paying off felons' debts. He's paying off felons' debts, right? Some of these felons are rapists. There's some dads out there that are pissed. There's some people that their kids got murdered, and Bloomberg's going to pay them off, right? Look at this beautiful girl. Come here, honey. Come say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Stick your head in. See? You say hi. Look, Hawk. Say hi to Hawk. Say hi, Hawk.
Hi.
Yeah, that was great. So, listen. That beautiful girl. Something happens to her. Someone does something to her. Guy goes to jail, gets out of jail, and then Mike Bloomberg pays off his debt. I'm telling you. I'm not the kind of guy that would be okay with it. Bloomberg, you're a scumbag. I'm coming. Honestly, I want to be like, I'm coming for you, for all the dads. We're coming after you. So let's get off of Bloomberg. That's my beautiful daughter. Presley Ray is the best. Corey said hi too, honey. So, all right, we just, what the hell did we just ran? Oh, Alyssa Milano. All right, honey, get the T-Rex out of here. Alyssa Milano, she's for defunding police officers, but yet she needed police officers in her white privileged community. But she would like all the hardcore places that actually need the police to not have the police. This leads us to the next topic, Seattle, the CHOP. Let's talk about the CHOP really quick. With the anarchist city of Seattle, this wasteland, this place has been decimated by scumbags and the lack of complete law and order. The place is just a shithole now. The mayor cuts a deal with this guy's name is Andre Taylor, who is a convicted pimp. The guy was convicted of being a pimp in 2000, right? After get convicted, he gets out. He starts an organization. Not this time. His brother was killed. I don't know the whole backstory on how his brother got killed, but his brother was killed by police officers. Not the conversation. Conversation is that this dude and his organization goes to the mayor of Seattle and somehow convinces the mayor to pay him $150,000 for the year to deal with the people in CHOP. He's the liaison. He's going into CHOP and he can talk to the community. They'll listen to him. He says, Mayor, they won't talk to you. They'll talk to me. He'll handle it. So this is the mayor's in Seattle's plan. The mayor in Seattle's plan isn't send in the police, send in the National Guard, send in law enforcement. Nope. The mayor's this is the best kid because this guy's got a smack a hoe. The mayor's solution is to pay a former pimp $150,000 because he can go in and talk to the community. I think I just swallowed a bug. Crap. Hold on. Oh my God. The guy got me. Did anybody else see that? It flew right into my fucking mouth. I don't even know if I can continue. Hold on. Literally, while I was talking about Seattle, a bug just flew by. It flew right into my mouth. Hold on. Oh my God. Okay, so the mayor of Seattle, I can't, man. It's like stuck in my throat. Okay, the mayor of it is right. It's COVID. The mayor of Seattle's answer to anarchy is to hire a pimp to go in and talk to the community because he has ties with the people that are in there, and this guy's gonna work things out. So this dude, this Andre Taylor, goes in. And then he gets caught on tape. This is the best. So he's talking out of his ass. He tells the mayor, hey, I'm going to go in. I'm going to settle this. I'm going to get everybody to go home. I know these people. I know how to talk to the community. Of course he knows how to talk to the community. The guy's a criminal. He's a fucking pimp. He used to run a section of the community. Now he's going to go in. He's going to lay his pimp hand down. He's going to slap a hoe. And he's going to make sure people leave. At least that's what he tells the mayor. Mayor sends him in. He goes and meets with the head of CHOP, the people, or the few 4 or 5 people that are kind of the big dogs over there, the alleged big dogs. I can't imagine what that must be like. So he sits down with them, and someone records the conversation, and he says to them out the other side of his ass, or out the side of his mouth, he tells them they need to go to the mayor and ask for $2 million to leave. He says, go to the mayor. The mayor will give you $2 million to leave. Or at least they'll give you $1 million. And then you guys will leave and you'll disperse. So now the guy is double dipping. Now the guy is talking for CHOP. Now the guy's talking for the mayor. But the whole problem gets squashed if the mayor had some balls. If the governor of Florida was the mayor of Seattle, this wouldn't be a problem. Cops would be in there. Law and order would take place. National Guard would get called up. It would be done. It would be squashed. The way you handle scumbags in Seattle is not sending a pimp in there. You don't send a pimp, you send dad. Let me be clear on this. You send dad in there. Everybody's life is like a household. Pretend you got five boys. Five boys, and mom's home with the five boys, and the five boys are going nuts. They're tearing the house apart. Mom can't handle it. The house is getting, I know, because I had five, it was me and my fucking five brothers. We would rip the place apart. Animals. Beat each other up. Tear the place apart. And you know when it all stopped? And nothing had to be said. You could just look at the clock and it would stop. And if for some reason you didn't see the clock that it was like dad was about to get home, the door would open and all anarchy and all burning of whatever the hell was going on. Whew, done. It was over. Law and order just got home. Dad just walked through the door. Everybody scurried like fucking rats to their bedrooms, and we all hid because we knew one of us was going to get in trouble for the devastation because mom was going to be like, Anthony did this and Michael did that and Stan did this and Jesse and Jamie, and something was going to be messed up, right? One of us, we were dead. Someone was going to get it. Someone was going to pay the price. Maybe all of us. But it was a deterrent. Law and order. Dad came home. Done. Now let's just say we didn't know. That we were just going at it. It was real anarchy at the house. You have to break it down, right? Break everything down to its simplest form. Seattle is a household with a shit ton of kids, but no parents. You got a ton of kids, no parents, no dad. Dad's law and order. You're home, it's the five boys, it's mom. You're ripping the place apart. But you got fear that dad might come home. If there was no fear of dad coming home, forget it. We'd have walked all over my mother, ripped that damn house apart, it'd be burnt to the ground. Forget it. We'd all be bums, losers. We'd all be felons waiting for Mike Bloomberg to pay off our debts. But we feared law and order. We feared that it was a deterrent that dad was going to come home and there was going to be a price to pay. And it was the easy way or the hard way. My father, he was straight up. Anthony, get down here. I come down, and that somber look, you're like, oh, shit. You go down, and he just look at you. He wouldn't even give you an odds. He just say, forget what happened. It's on you. Easy way or the hard way. Now, I always liked it the hard way. For whatever reason, I ran my dad to the fucking ground. I was like, yeah, hard way, let's go. Come, try to catch me. And I would run him. Let me tell you something. I couldn't make it to the kitchen before that guy would catch me. And the hard way, easy way, you got the belt, leather end. Hard way, he caught you, you got the buckle. I always went for the buckle. I was like, yeah, let's go, old man. I'd run, he'd catch me, buckle. That was a deterrent. It made me worry about, hey, guys, we got to clean up the house before dad gets home. Hey, leave mom alone. Dad's going to come home. All the time. And then if you had anarchy and you forgot, right? You're ripping the house apart, places going nuts, and you forgot that dad was coming home. You forgot you didn't hear the door, and that guy stepped into the room. The look on his face, you'd turn into a statue, like, oh, just the look, the scowl, the mustache. What, dude, the guy's fucking mustache walked into the room before he did, and people, and his famous thing, right? You could be ripping the whole place up, or he would hit the table real hard. Boom! Enough! Phew! Gone. All of us. That's what needs to happen in Seattle. Dad needs to come home. And dad, for this metaphor, is law and order. Dad is the chief of police coming in and said, this is done. This is over. We are you're done here. Go home. If you don't leave now, you'll be arrested. We're going to do this the easy way, or we're going to do it the hard way. Easy way, you guys all go home. Hard way, we're going to arrest every single one of you. And if you resist arrest, you're going to get your face pounded in. Simple. Done. It'll be over in a half hour. The president said it the other day. He could end what's going on in Seattle, Chicago, New York City, Portland in a half hour. Calling the National Guard, done. Dad's home, everybody runs. Give a pimp $150,000. He's going to go in there. What do you think you're going to get when you're dealing with a former scumbag? You're going to get the same shit. Scumbag. It's not how you handle it. Please, for the love of God, vote of no confidence for the mayor of Seattle when you're doing dealings with a former pimp. right, that's out. What's all right, I gotta talk. We'll do one more. All right, so quickly in the news, NFL. You know what? Let's save the NFL shit for tomorrow. Um, Man, I want to talk about the wealth. All right, last one, and then I'll save these other stories for tomorrow. In North Carolina, this is just like a feel good story, or this is just lets you know. Since we're talking about dads, there are still some good dads left in the world. A 53-year-old convicted pedophile, a guy that's been busted a couple of times for diddling kids, is out. You know, because this is what we do in the United States. We're okay. We say, hey, you know, you touched an underage girl, you diddled another kid's nuts. You can get out of jail and you can live amongst the people, and you can live amongst my daughter, and you can live like 2 feet. There's a pedophile that lives right down the street from me, dude. I'm telling you. I watch this guy. We all watch him. If he ever does, dude, if he ever said hi to my daughter, I'll rip his head off. But whatever. They live amongst us. Apparently, people can be reformed. This guy's been convicted 7 times and let out again. And of course, he could be reformed. Down in North Carolina, he's at a Cracker Barrel. And he goes, there's a little girl, all of 15 years old. She goes to the bathroom to go pee. She looks up, and there's the guy looking over the top of the stall, watching her take a piss. There he is, Styx's 7-time convicted scumbag, taking a pee, taking a piss. Well, of course, to the girl's horror, she runs out of the bathroom. And you know what's great? When the man comes out of the bathroom, he's confronted by not just her dad, he's confronted by 4 other dads, and they grab the man, and they immediately, and you have to see the mugshot of the guy, because it looks like he got ran over by a Mack truck. Her dad and a couple of other dads from the restaurant that overheard what the daughter had said swooped into action immediately and vigilante style beat the shit out of this guy, dragged his ass outside, and held him down until the police got there. When the police got there, they said, what happened? And they were telling the guy, the police were like, no, what happened to the guy? And they all just looked at each other like, all right, he must have fell. Police guy knew it right away. The police officer was like, yeah, okay. You guys beat the shit out of him because he was watching your daughter take a piss. Cop let it go. I'm sure, that's not an official story that he let it go, but I'm guessing that's what happened. I want to give kudos to these guys, to these dads in North Carolina that stood up for the young 15-year-old girl and let her know that this shit isn't acceptable, that if a guy is sticking his head over some sick, disgusting pervert that shouldn't be on the street in the first place, sticks his head over the stall while you're going to the bathroom, you're going to pay. You're going to get your butt kicked. You're going to good old school ass whipping for looking at my daughter while she's taking a piss. And then I hope they take it a step further. I hope that somebody in North Carolina realizes that, hey, after 7 times, this guy is still targeting little kids. Maybe it's time to lock this guy up for good. Maybe it's time we start protecting our daughters and stop protecting our sons, our children from these perverts instead of protecting the perverts. Instead of saying, oh, we need to put the perverts back on the street. We need to find them a place to live. We need to find them a job. We have to re-assimilate them into the community. How about we don't? How about we keep them locked up? How about we keep them in jail for the rest of their lives for touching little kids' private parts? Now, I can tell you this, and I would love this to be admissible in the court of law. If you touch my daughter, there will be no court for you. If you touch my daughter, you're dead. I will kill you, and I will gladly. I'm 40. I'll do the rest of my life. I'm okay with going to jail for the rest of my life for killing you. If you touch my daughter when she's like 5 years old, I'm okay with it. I'm on record telling you right now that if you touch my daughter, they'll have to kill me to get me off you. And if I don't get to you and you get arrested, I'm in the courtroom. I'm coming after you. I'll pull a Jack Ruby. You'll be coming. You just like Oswald was coming out of the courtroom or out of the police station, wherever the hell he was. I'm going to be Jack Ruby, and I'm getting you. And if I can't, I'll take it a step further. If I can't get you for some reason they keep me away from you, I will commit a crime so that I can get into the same prison that you're in, so that I can kill you. So don't fuck with my daughter. That's it. That's America's podcast. Honestly, America, we need to keep scumbag perverts off the streets. We need to do this. I feel like that's a no-brainer. I don't understand how there are people that live in this country that thinks it's okay to put perverts like this back out on the streets. The next thing is Mike Bloomberg needs to be called out. He needs to be vilified. The Democrats need to speak out against what he's doing. Republicans already do. What he's doing in Florida, he's buying the election, and even worse, he's paying off debts for 32,000 convicted felons. That is disgusting in a whole. That needs to be taken care of. And then the next thing, Seattle, the only way for us in this country to handle the looters, the rioters, again, on this program, we say it time and time again. You cease to be a protester the second you commit a crime. Once you commit a crime, you are now a criminal. And criminals need to be arrested and they need to be put in jail. The only way to stop these riots is law and order, and you need hard-nosed elected officials that will do that shit. You need tough governors like the governor of California. I'm sorry, the governor of California is a dink. Like the governor of Florida that will put his nuts on the table and back the blue and make sure that they get all the help that they need to stop these protests. All this stuff needs to happen. And on top of that, you're damn right the president will be picking his Supreme Court nominee this week. And you're damn right the Senate will do their constitutional duty to either confirm or deny his nominee. And if they deny, he should nominate another one until they find one that they are happy with. And I'm sure whoever he puts forth, whatever woman he puts forth, will be worthy. They will vote, and you will have 9 justices before the election. It will be done in less than 45 days. Back in the day, they used to do it in like 2 or 3 days. Way, way back. Washington time. All right. Thank you so much for listening to America's podcast. Man, I can't believe I fucking ate a bug, dude. DeSantis. Yes. Shedlaw. He's fucking baller.